Whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And that's real. Because if I tell myself I can't, I can't, yeah, you're never gonna even try. You've already talked yourself out the shit. But if I'm like you look at like a cat like Kanye, like I'm gonna be a rapper. He said that shit to everybody, and they're all like, no, they didn't care what the fuck they said. He didn't internalize their thing, you know. And that's the problem with us as adults is when we're children. Often we internalize what we've been told. We internalize it and make it our own. Those become our words. So that's why it's so important for us to find that awareness, number one, because you can't change your words until you're aware of your words.
What differences do you see between weightlifting and yoga? You know, because as a former athlete and former athlete ourselves, like we were trained a certain way based off the sport that we were doing. Yeah. There's certain muscles that we did not utilize or use.
For sure.
And there's some that were really more dominant than others to be able to help us play the sport we play.
Yeah.
But like
specialization.
What do you see the difference between if you're dealing with like say a bodybuilder that comes in and lifts weights all the time and then they actually step in and do yoga? Yeah. Like is there anything, you know?
I mean, the biggest difference is like with lifting weights in general, the idea is eccentric, concentric, right? It's a motion. Most yoga is about isometric. It's about holding it. So like trying to hold a down dog, you got a cat who could bench 350, but you ask him to hold his body weight, hands over his head. It's hard as a motherfucker because he goes from here to here. He doesn't sit in this end range of motion. So now you're being forced to sit in this end range, a place that your body hasn't adapted to. It gets fucking nutty. And that's where the breath comes in because now you start to, right? Because you never practice breathing. Nobody's ever told you. But when you lift, what do? Right? It's still the same practice, but it's just applying it in a different way. So the difference is really just like the type of like movement and intention. It's really just intention. The intention in the practice. You know, your goal in bodybuilding isn't to like be present with your breath. You be present with your breath so that you can feel the muscle engagement as much as possible. But that's where a lot of people miss in yoga because they're going through the flow and the movements and not paying attention to how they're breathing and what they're feeling in their body. So it's literally the same thing. So there's differences, but it's like literally the same thing.
Well, I mean, you also had to go through it. What is your personal experience of like when you first started and like I'm starting to do yoga and then now like, oh shit, I do a session. Yeah. Man, I'm not as strong as I think I am. Or I'm not as flexible as I think I am.
Oh, for sure. Like I said, I always wish I took pictures when I first started doing yoga, man, because like bro, I was so unflexible. Like I was like here, like barely below my knees, like trying to touch my toes. But at that time, like there wasn't like a yoga Instagram or anything like that. It was just like you did yoga. Like nobody gave a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I remember one of my friends became one of the very first influencers of Instagram and lived the fucking best life like for the next like 5 years. It was crazy. But anyways, like with yoga, what's interesting about it, it doesn't have the same weight of sports and shit like that. When I say that, I mean like winning and losing. Yoga is about showing up. Yoga is about just being present. So it's like, yeah, some days you're super flexible and everything works. Some days you feel tight as fuck. Same thing in sports, right? Like let's stay with bodybuilding. Some days that squat feels effortless. Some days that squat feels like everything. But what? You showed up. It's winning those days. It's the same thing, just a different intention because you don't think about it like that with weightlifting or basketball. Like some days you go and hoop. You ball the fuck out. Everything's splashing, right? Like you just throw the bitch up and just splash.
Boom.
Right? Yeah. But some days, like, you're trying your fucking best and nothing is feeling good, right? It's not hitting. It's his life.
I'm glad you said that because, you know, I've been consistently learning how to stretch, get ready in the morning and put that. And some days I'm like, is this even working? And then some days I'm like, oh, I do see the progress.
Yeah, wow. It's a marathon, not a sprint, man. And that's why I said earlier, like when we was talking about even being more flexible, like myself, I can do splits and shit. But some days your body's tight. Like you may not have slept good. You might have been eating a bunch of junk food. Now your body's inflamed. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of other reasons besides like, oh, I'm just not flexible. Like you may need to warm up this day more so to reach your maximum level of flexibility. You know, like there's a million fucking reasons why or why not you may be flexible. But like for the most part, you gotta think more than just like physically. It's like, yo, how is this helping me overall?
Overall, long term, especially the older that
Pain,
we get, right? Yeah.
like chronic pain. Like one of my clients, her doctor was telling her she should never work out. I'm like, no. You need to do something. You need to move your body, but you need to find the level that you're at right now. Because the longer you wait to find where you're at now, then work from there, the further where I'm at deviates. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was here today, if I wait 3 years, I'm going to be here. Now, just getting to where I was 3 years ago is going to be even harder than if I start here to try to go up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the sooner you can tap in with yourself and just like start working towards where you want to be, the better.
Man, that's so dope. Yeah. And I think also part of your journey, what you described earlier, is how do we get Black men to be a part of something like this? So maybe this could be a way to draw the Black men in, right?
Let's go.
What would benefit Black men sexually if they decide to do yoga?
I mean, shit, open them hips. Your lady will not complain, I promise. Shit, you're able to move a lot better. You have, again, awareness, right? You trying to hold on, you trying to last long. You got to be aware of what's going on in your body so you don't lose control. Shit, if your hips are more open, you can move a lot better. You can get in a lot of other strange positions and places that you may have never been able to access before. So open those hips up.
Open the hips up. Does that create better blood flow?
Yeah, for sure.
To the
I mean,
penis?
just breath work in general. You know what I mean?
I can't believe this is the first time I ever said penis on my podcast. So.
How's that feel for you, bro?
That's tough. All right. Okay.
So first and last.
I know. Yeah, first and last. No, that's it. But like how, I mean, you're talking about like how it'll benefit our hips. Yeah, but like if we open that up.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Blood flow. But you got to think blood flow is majorly dependent on breath as well.
Breath. Okay.
So being able to breathe, again, controls a lot of what's going on. So if you think about the flowing of blood, that's dependent on the heart. That depends on how you're breathing. If you're breathing all choppy, you're trying to power stroke and shit, you're not breathing, you're not allowing blood to flow to the muscles, and your dick is a muscle. So, gotta breathe, baby. It also doesn't make you feel so tight, so you're not gonna lose control. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be able to breathe and move the energy.
Okay, well, you're a man, so I could ask this question.
For sure.
Personally, as a man, for you, what has yoga done for you?
Sexually or in everything?
We could go sexually and everything. All of that. Put it all together.
Shit, it's definitely helped me learn to be a lot more present. And I think that is a beautiful thing as far as like, shit, if I think about physically, just in like my everyday, I'm a lot more present in my conversations. If I'm thinking about with my woman, my lover, I'm a lot more present in our own interactions. So I'm able to pay a lot more attention about what she needs and wants, you know what I'm saying, in those moments, than just going through the motions and trying to copy what you see in some pornos and shit, you know what I'm saying? So I think those shit, and then just moving better, feeling better, like more confidence in your body. Like, don't nobody want to be like people think 40 is old, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is crazy to me. People be like, 40 is old? Shit, feel bad for you.
I feel like the 40s are going to be some of the best moments in our lives.
Yeah, because like I look at life like this. Whether or not I make it to this time, I tell people I want to live to 130, right? So if let's say I'm 32, right? And I want to live to 130, it means you got 100 years left. That's like getting out of kindergarten. You feel me? So imagine your whole life, 30 years of your life is only like worthy of like a 5-year span, right? It's just like first quarter of your life. You're just figuring yourself out. You've just had enough experiences, whether you've been talking about your relationships, your jobs, your athletic career, whatever the fuck. You've just got enough experience to be like, okay, I kind of know what I want. I kind of know what I want to do next, you know? Have more confidence to move in yourself. So, bro, it's like being a fucking baby. So like, why would 40 be old when like, yo, your potential, if you take care of yourself, can be like 100 plus. You don't have to be like senile as fuck and get your ass wiped. Like that's actually not how it has to be.
Well, what do you feel like men need to overcome when it comes to just like, you know what? Hey, you know, maybe I should really try something
pride,
different.
bro. It's fucking
the
pride, bro. It's because we don't want to be vulnerable. Men don't want to be. We want to be in powerful positions, and not all yoga is asking you to be soft and feminine, but it does ask you to like not rely on your power all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like with lifting weights, you power through things, right? It's like, I got 15 of these motherfuckers. All right. Let me push through. When you're stretching, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I have to sit in some shit that sucks. Everything hurts right now. Everything in my soul is like, yo, why are we doing this? Get the fuck out. You're here. You can leave right now. As opposed to like, all right, let me just, That's easy.
But it's so funny when you say that. That when I'm in the yoga class with you, there are the times where I'm just like, we could be like probably like 20 minutes in. I'll be like, shh, I'm good. You know, like
that was enough.
But I think that there's still, even for athletes, that part of us is just like, no, I'm not gonna quit on this. I'm gonna finish this thing all the way through. I'm gonna make it happen and do that. So like, how do we, you know, continue to have that mindset of like, all right, we've lift weights this way. We could transfer this over to yoga as well. And say, hey, why not find a way to push through this, but also recognize, you know what, I actually may be weak in this position. I got to build that.
Yeah, but I think that's that perspective, right? Of like knowing that this is helping me, knowing that my weakest link can break the chain or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's that, like, knowing that, you know, if I work on the shit that I suck at, I'm not always gonna suck at it.
Exactly.
But most, especially men, we talk about pride. I'm bringing back to that we don't want to suck at something, and then we don't want to suck at something in front of other people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to look at me like, oh man, these girls are fucking good at this shit.
Oh, I accept it, bro. I'm just like, you know what? I suck. I know I'm not good, but I'm here for help because, you know what? I feel much better leaving than I do when I come in.
Yeah, but that's the growth mindset. You know what I'm saying? That's like not rare, but when it comes to being vulnerable and being aware that, yo, I'm not good at this, but I'm also aware that I need this for my own longevity, my own health. So it's like owning that fact, like, yo, like when we talk about how to get men to do this, be like, yo, like, bro, this is actually going to be mad good for you. I'm not saying you need to do splits. You don't need to put your legs behind your head. A lot of that, like, really far in yoga shit is not necessary for what you need as a dude. You know what I'm saying? So for me, when I work with men, especially like I can get them out of the yoga space, like a lot of like way I teach them how to stretch is through strength. You know what I'm saying? Not through just like passive flexibility. So when I get them to understand that concept, it makes a lot more sense to them. And they're able to internalize that, and then they'll be like, oh, now I'm actually starting to see results. Because, you know, if you believe in manifestation, if all your thing is, I suck at this, I'm never going to get more flexible. No, you're not. Because you don't even think you can. So why would your body respond to what you're asking it to do? You're not asking it to get more flexible. You're telling it nonstop, like, you're not flexible. I cannot do this. I will never be able to do this. You're instantly manifesting your reality.
And that's what I love about yoga. It is something that holds you accountable.
Yeah, for sure.
It definitely holds you accountable.
Especially with community. And that's what's cool about being able to go to classes and stuff like that, is that you're able to like firsthand be around people who are doing what you want to do. So then you get to see the levels of it, you know? Like you can be like, look over here and be like, okay, they're a little bit better than me. You look over there and be like, oh, they way better than me. They kind of better than them or further than them, however you want to look at it, right? But then it lets you kind of see like, okay, those are those steps to get there. You know, it's like growing up and seeing somebody who's a doctor, but you're just like, damn, they a doctor. They living a good life. They got a Benz. They got, but you don't see the steps. You know what I'm saying? It's different if your daddy was a doctor, right? He can now tell you the steps. He's like, well, you got to get a good goddamn grades in high school. You got to go to a good college. Now you need to do pre-med. You need to and kind of walk you through the shit. But, you know, most people, what they seen, especially black men's, what, like artistry, sports, you know, that's like the avenue to, you know, so now it's just really paving new avenues, man. That's really what we're doing is like, I feel like we're in a space and where the world is right now, that like we're kind of like rewriting everything from relationships to how we work to how we live. Like all the shit is up for grabs right now. And
Yeah, it's a wide open market, man.
it's wide the fuck open.
Yeah.
And also, I think that that's why they're pushing so much, like raise prices on everything and all that, because as long as they can keep you working, you can't take time to work on yourself because you only have a certain amount of willpower every day. So, you know, most people don't want to work out after work. Why? Because work sucks. Why do I want to go work out?
Right.
It's hard, man. It's why they take a pre-workout at 9 o'clock.
It's a tough mental lapse to get over. I just pray that we're able to get over that. Man. You want to be able to get over that.
But it's connotation, bro. It's wording. Like our words are spells, right? If I say work out, go to work, right? If you change the context to training, to practice, to play, it's different, right? Because the way your brain recognizes it is completely different. When you go to hoop with your homies, you can play for 5-6 hours, right? No problem. You go to the gym to work out, you in there for 30 minutes, and it's like, yo, this sucks. You do how many reps and sets? Because you're looking at, your brain recognizes it as work. It's a task, not I'm playing. Play and work in your brain work two completely different ways. Your brain recognizes it completely different. That's why you can hoop all day. You're playing the game. Regardless if it's still the same thing of shooting jump shots and crossing over, it's not recognizing as I'm doing drills and I'm, you know what I'm saying? It recognizes as play.
And do you feel like you create the environment for play? That's absolutely why people are drawn to what you do.
Yeah, that's why my whole brand is, you know, the playground, man. Like when you think about a playground, it's not just a swing, it's not just a slide, it's not just a sandbox. You have all of those things because these are all tools and different things that we've learned. So like the way that I teach is not like a traditional yoga class. It's a mixture of like everything I've ever learned and studied or has like kind of interested me movement wise. So it's just like a blend of shit that just excites me and I think applies to where we are in society and what our bodies need more so, you know?
And I feel like that's why you go by the slogan, change your words, change your world, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talk about words are powerful, man. Like, one of my favorite quotes is, I don't remember who the fuck said it. It's Emerson or some fucking white people, but it's, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And that's real. Because if I tell myself, I can't, I can't, yeah, you're never going to even try. You've already talked yourself out the shit. But if I'm like you look at like a cat like Kanye, like, I'm going to be a rapper. He said that shit to everybody. And they're all like, no. They didn't care what the fuck they said. He didn't internalize their thing. You know, and that's the problem with us as adults is when we're children, often we internalize what we've been told, somebody else has told us of their perspective. We internalize it and make it our own. Those become our words. So that's why it's so important for us to find that awareness, number one, because you can't change your words until you're aware of your words. You could be talking a lot of poison to yourself or the people around you nonstop and don't even be hip to it, bro. You know, but it all comes back to awareness. And then, you know, change those words, you change your world. Like if you speak life, you speak love, you speak abundance, you speak joy, you can't help but to attract people who move at those same frequencies, you know? You cannot, bro. It just doesn't move like that. Even the homeless people are abundant.
Man, that's lit, bro.